Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to start my Magnolia table series, and I'm going to cook a good bit of things out of her first book, which I think is considered part 1 now because she came out with a part 2. And I am going to start with her very first recipe in the book, and it's JoJo's Biscuits. So let me show you really quick. She's got this story in the book, and she talks about how it took her a whole year to get them just right. And here is her directions and her list of ingredients. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in real close, and if you'd like to, you can pause the screen and you can jot it down, take a screenshot, whatever you want to do. So there's your ingredients. Here is the directions. And of course, I'll read through these each step of the way as we do each of the things. I went to the supermarket this past weekend and I picked up all of the ingredients, but I did not have a biscuit cutter, and I went to a few different stores and could not find the size that I needed for the life of me, so I had to order it on Amazon, and it did not come till late Sunday night. So I am doing this after work during the week. So bear with me on the lighting. I've turned on all the lights, so hopefully the lighting will be good. Normally I prefer to do this on a sunny weekend day. So let's get right into the ingredient list, and I will show you everything that I have aside here on the counter. So we need flour, baking powder, baking soda, butter, 2 large eggs and an extra egg, buttermilk. And now this says strawberry jam or classic gravy. I'm not going to make either of those things. First, I don't want to make the jam because it takes a really long time, and since I've had babies, I tend to get like a lot of acid reflux whenever I try to eat any kind of like Jello. Think of like fig Newtons and things like that. So I just don't know how it would turn out, and I'm just not going to bother with it. Not to mention, I also never really eat things like that with biscuits. So I would have loved to do the classic gravy, but when I look at the ingredients, there's a whole bunch of sausage in it, and that tends to hurt my stomach really bad. I have found in the last few years that I have issues with, I don't know if it's gastritis or just mild inflammation, but a lot of processed meats tend to do that to me, and pepperoni and sausage are some of the big ones that tend to make me feel like I'm in a lot of pain, and so I just stay away from those now, which does make me sad because it also includes bacon, and a life without bacon is awful. So anyway, let's get into making. Okay, so here are my ingredients. I have my 3 eggs, the butter, buttermilk, baking powder, self-rising flour. I have 2 of them because this one's almost empty. Baking soda, and here is my set of biscuit cutters. It comes with 5 different sizes. So my very first direction says, in a large bowl, whisk together flour, baking powder, and baking soda. Add the butter, and it says to use a pastry blender to cut the butter into the flour until the pieces are even and the size of peas. I'm just going to put it in the microwave a very short amount of time and get it nice and soft, and try to mix it in with my hand because I don't know what a pastry blender is and I don't have one. Okay, so the first one says mix it until the pieces are even and the size of peas. It says see photo A, which is this. And so this is what I've got. I would say that it looks like a clump of peas all together. I've tried to mix it as best as I really can. Again, I don't have a pastry blender. I don't know what that is. I have to get one later. I don't know. But anyway, I think that looks pretty good. So the next one says stir in the beaten eggs with a wooden spoon, and we're gonna do 2 large eggs beaten, and there's 1 extra one for brushing. So I'm going to stir in 2 beaten eggs and 1.5 cups of buttermilk. It says if it's too dry, I can add more buttermilk, 1 tablespoon at a time. And at that point, I'm going to cover it and put it in the fridge for 30 minutes. I'm not doing it overnight, so let's see how that turns out. So I have poured this in here, which has a little bit of butter residue, and it came out very lumpy, and it smells not so great. It says July 1st on it. So I looked up online if that means it's gone bad, and it says it probably has gone bad. So I'm not going to use that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to use regular milk and hope that that goes well. So let's see how that goes. Alright, so it was telling me to position a rack in the middle of the oven, preheat to 400, line a baking sheet with parchment paper, and then scrape the dough onto a floured work surface. So that's as far as I've got. I don't know what I'm doing, never done this before, so here's some flour on a work surface, parchment paper on a baking sheet, and oven is at 400 with a rack in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. Hey Lily, you say hi puppy? Say we cooking biscuits. We cooking biscuits. Yeah. I got both my babies over there playing in the playland. Alright, so I'm about to take the dough out. I'm a little bit worried. After I mixed in the 1.5 cups of milk, it dawned on me that it is thinner than buttermilk, and I don't know if I'm going to end up with too watery of biscuits. I'm hoping that maybe the floured work surface will help kind of absorb some of that extra moisture, so can't wait to see how it turns out. I hope it's good. Alright, so here's the dough. I have to touch it with my hands, so I can't really mess with the camera while I'm doing it. So I'm going to try, is this hot? No. I'm going to try to position it to where you can watch what I'm doing without me having to touch the camera because my hands are going to be a mess. Use floured hands to press it into a round. So, I got floured hands, I guess. I don't know if this is enough flour. Oh, that feels wet. I really hope I don't regret this. I'm about to pour this whole thing out onto my counter, and I hope that that is not a big mistake. It feels kind of like cake batter, but like lumpy and thicker, more kind of like, I don't know what I would call it, like frosting? Oh, I don't know. This is watery. I think I'm... Maybe this will help. I hope. Maybe if I just add more flour, it will fix them. Oh my goodness. Are you witnessing this? I'm about to get this all dirty. That's okay. This is my first time baking, so we gotta improvise. So we're just gonna kind of mix it in there and hope that it gets to the right consistency. This is definitely not as stiff as I think it's supposed to be. This is terrible. Oh my goodness. Okay. Can't even pick it up. I guess this is one of those things where more is less because it doesn't seem to be making a difference. I hope these come out tasting even remotely good. Oh, this is a story for the ages, really. Oh my goodness. Well, look at that. It's starting to kind of, we're getting it into a round. This is funny. Okay, so it said 14 inches around and half an inch thick. So I feel like this is definitely about half an inch thick. It's a little thicker in the middle. Try and get it even. My son is over there talking about poop, so I don't know if you can hear him, but this is just welcome to the circus. Okay, this is what my hands look like. I'm gonna wash them and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is certainly interesting. So I'm not really sure who has time to do all of this or who even just invented this, but here we are. I've got my, let me get a good shot of that. Use a floured 2 3/4 inch round cutter to cut 20 biscuits. If necessary, collect and pat out the scraps to cut more biscuits. Okay, alright, so I have lined the baking sheet. I was able to get 24 biscuits. Some of them are a little more floured than others. This is what I have left over, just a little bit. And here's the cutout that I used. I'm about to use that last egg to brush the top of the biscuits, and then they're gonna go in for 15 to 20 minutes. Right here it says you can add the tablespoon of buttermilk. I'm just gonna skip it and do just the egg since we don't have the buttermilk anyway. And then 15 to 20 minutes. We'll see how it turned. Biscuits are cooking. So the biscuits have 5 more minutes in the stove, and I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you the few things that I learned from this baking experience. First of all, always have a boatload more flour on hand than you think you'll need, because I probably used twice the amount of flour that I thought that I was going to. It kind of makes me realize why people have giant canisters that say flour on them on their counter. I always thought that was stupid. Because I didn't think they really used it that often or that much, and I'm totally wrong about that. People probably use a lot of it and frequently if you're someone who bakes. So now I understand the whole flour canister thing. I'm going to leave the biscuits in there for the full 20 minutes because of the fact that I felt like they were more watery, because of the fact that I didn't use buttermilk and I used regular milk. So I'm gonna also check them, make sure that they're actually well cooked and not super runny in the middle. So check those in just a minute when the timer goes off. All right, here's the biscuits. They're golden. Turn that off so you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see they have a golden top to them. I just pulled one out from the corner to eat it. It's a little dry, which I'm kind of surprised at because they were so sticky and wet. So I don't know if changing the buttermilk out with milk just really made that big of a difference. I guess maybe it did. I'll have to try these again next time and get better buttermilk that hasn't gone bad. So I'm still gonna eat it though. I still think it tastes good, but I'm wondering if it could be even better. So there you have it. I made biscuits with milk and they're okay. So maybe when you do this recipe, you use buttermilk because it's probably better with buttermilk. So, but anyway, I'm gonna eat these. I'm gonna take them to work. My husband wants to put honey on them, so we'll see how that turns out. I might try that too. So I hope that you have enjoyed this delightful biscuit making video and that you have learned a few things, because I certainly have. And I will see you in the next cooking video. Bye.
Call us crazy, but things things are finally right.